Hannah Zull had always lived her life carefully. At 42, the Malaysian mother of two had faced enough heartbreak to know that love rarely offered second chances. Her divorce 3 years earlier had left her emotionally exhausted, juggling double shifts at a dental clinic in Penang to support her teenage daughters. Dating again wasn't something she planned, until her best friend, Miriam, convinced her otherwise. "You've spent years taking care of everyone else," Miriam said over coffee one humid evening in April 2021. "Your girls are old enough now. You deserve happiness too." The thought of joining a dating app made Hannah uneasy. It felt too exposed, too vulnerable. But Miriam helped her pick photos and write a short, honest profile. Divorced mom of two. Love hiking, mystery podcasts, and early mornings with coffee. For a few days, nothing came of it. Just a string of empty chats and fake profiles. Hannah was about to delete the app when a new match appeared. Liam Carter profile showed a man in his mid-40s with kind green eyes and an easy smile. In one picture, he stood beside a golden retriever. In another, near a log cabin surrounded by pine trees. His bio was simple: widower, carpenter, dog dad, looking for something real. Something about his honesty caught her attention. His first message came a few minutes later. "Hi Hannah, your profile made me smile. Anyone who loves mystery podcasts is my kind of person. Have you listened to the one about the missing hikers in British Columbia?" She had, and just like that, the conversation flowed. They talked about true crime stories, the psychology of criminals, and even their favorite travel spots. Liam was gentle, curious, and respectful, unlike most men she'd met online. Over the next few days, their messages grew longer. He told her about his late wife, Claire, who had died of cancer 2 years earlier, and how throwing himself into work had helped him cope. Hannah opened up about her own heartbreak, her husband's betrayal, and how her daughters became her reason to keep going. "You're stronger than you think," Liam texted one night. "Raising kids alone takes courage. Your daughters are lucky." That message stayed with her. By the end of the week, Liam asked if she'd like to meet. "There's a small cafe just outside the city," he said. "Quiet place, great coffee, and a hiking trail nearby. Maybe we could go this weekend." Hannah hesitated. "I'll be sharing your details with my friend first," she said. "Of course," Liam replied. "That's smart. I'll send you my business info and ID. You should feel completely safe." That night, Hannah checked everything online. His company existed, the address matched his pictures, and she even found an old article about a donation he'd made to a cancer charity. Saturday morning came bright and warm. Liam arrived at her apartment at exactly noon in a silver pickup truck. Hannah watched from the window as he parked, straightened his shirt, and smiled up toward her unit. Her daughter, Liana, frowned. "Mom, you're sure he's okay?" "Yes, love. I've done my research," Hannah said, smiling. "I'll call you every hour." When Liam knocked, he looked exactly as he had online. Friendly, calm, and genuine. "Hannah," he said warmly, "it's great to finally meet you. You look even better in person." Their drive south was easy and full of laughter. They talked about family, work, and how both had learned to start over. "Maybe that's why I build things," Liam said, glancing at the road. "It's proof that even after loss, you can still create something that lasts." Hannah smiled, watching the countryside roll past. For the first time in years, she felt light, hopeful, even. Halfway through the drive, she texted Miriam, "All good so far." "He's kind." Miriam replied instantly, "Be careful." "But I'm happy for you." The city disappeared behind them, replaced by winding roads and lush greenery. The cafe Liam mentioned sat by a quiet forest road, a place that seemed peaceful, even magical. Hannah felt like she was stepping into a new chapter. But by Monday morning, her name would be in every news headline. The cafe would be behind police tape, and Miriam's phone would light up with one final message from Hannah, 3 short words that would haunt her forever. "That's really kind of you, Liam," Hannah said softly, a small smile curving her lips. Thank you for sharing that with me. He reached over and gave her hand a brief squeeze. I feel like I can trust you, Hannah, he said quietly. You seem like someone who understands what it's like to start over. They drove through a quaint tourist town surrounded by rolling woods and winding back roads. Liam didn't slow down, keeping his focus straight ahead as the trees grew denser and the road narrower. Hannah glanced at her phone, one signal bar. How much farther? She asked, a faint edge in her voice. Only 15 minutes, Liam replied easily. It's off the main route, but that's what makes it peaceful. She sent a quick message to her friend. Still good. Almost there. But the message didn't deliver. The single check mark blinked mockingly on her screen. Service can be tricky out here, Liam said, glancing at her phone. Don't worry, the cafe has Wi-Fi. A twinge of unease twisted in Hannah's stomach. She tried to push it away. After all, Liam had been kind, polite, normal. But the longer they drove, the fewer cars she saw. Then, they turned off onto a gravel path, branches brushing against the car windows like skeletal fingers. Liam, are you sure this is the right way? Hannah asked, trying to sound calm. It's a shortcut, he said, but something in his tone had changed, flatter, colder. Her pulse quickened. I think we should turn back. We're almost there. No, she said more firmly. Stop the car, Liam. When she reached for the door handle, his hand shot out and clamped around her wrist hard. The warmth from earlier was gone, replaced by a chilling stillness in his eyes. Don't do that, Hannah, he said in a low, even voice. You might get hurt. A jolt of terror ripped through her. This wasn't the charming man she'd met online. This was someone else entirely. Please, Hannah whispered. I have family. Please don't do this. Everyone has someone, Liam murmured. That doesn't change what's about to happen. He pulled off the gravel road, stopping in a small clearing surrounded by trees. The world went silent except for Hannah's heartbeat pounding in her ears. Then, he reached behind his seat and drew a hunting knife from a worn leather sheath. You're going to do exactly what I tell you, he said calmly. If you cooperate, this will be easier. Hannah's mind raced. She was terrified, but she refused to freeze. Slowly, she reached into her pocket. Let me just turn off my phone, so no one could track us. That's what you want, right? He hesitated, then nodded. Do it slowly. Her hands trembled as she held the phone. Instead of turning it off, she pressed the emergency SOS button 5 times. A vibration buzzed against her palm. Maybe someone would get her location if the signal worked. Give it to me, Liam ordered. She handed it over, praying he wouldn't notice. He tossed it aside and gestured toward the woods. Out. Walk. As she stepped into the clearing, Hannah forced herself to study everything. The trees, the road behind them, any chance of escape. Why are you doing this? She asked, stalling. You swiped right, he said flatly. You got in my car. You made it easy. There was no wife, was there? She demanded. Oh, there was, he said darkly. But she's buried not far from where you're standing. A chill spread through her body. She saw the disturbed earth ahead, uneven patches like shallow graves. How many women? She whispered. You be number 7. Rage and terror tangled in her chest. She'd been lonely, yes, but she wasn't going to die here. No, she said firmly, turning to face him. You'll have to fight me for it. Liam's eyes narrowed. That's not wise. I don't care, Hannah snapped. I want my family to know I fought back. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in his expression. She seized it. I triggered an SOS before you took my phone. My friend knows where I am. They're coming. He hesitated, eyes flicking toward the truck. Go check, she said, stepping back toward the trees. See if it's sent. But that means turning your back on me. He froze, calculating. And that second was all she needed. Hannah bolted into the forest, crashing through branches that tore at her clothes and face. Behind her, Liam cursed and followed. He was stronger, faster, but the thick woods slowed him down. Hannah zigzagged, remembering every tip from her favorite true crime podcasts. Stay unpredictable, find water, keep moving. Then she saw it, A drop in the land, the shimmer of a stream below. She slid down the muddy slope, landing hard in icy water. The shock cleared her head. She began wading downstream, her shoes heavy, her breath ragged. The sounds of pursuit grew faint. Maybe he'd lost her trail. Maybe he was waiting. But ahead, through the blur of trees and mist, she saw it. A bridge. Her only chance at escape. Not a main road, but the presence of a narrow bridge meant there had to be a path, a sign of life somewhere ahead. Hannah clawed her way up the muddy embankment, her palms slipping against wet soil and tangled roots until she hauled herself onto what looked like an old maintenance track. Uneven, rutted, but definitely made by people. Left or right? She turned right, running on instinct alone. Her lungs burned, every breath slicing her chest, but she kept going. Then, faint at first, she heard it. An engine. Not Liam's truck. Something else. A different vehicle coming from ahead. She stumbled into the middle of the road, waving frantically. Help! Please! Help me! A faded green Jeep appeared around the bend, its driver's eyes widening at the sight of her, dirt-streaked, bleeding, terrified. The Jeep screeched to a stop. Dear God, are you all right? A man in his 60s jumped out while his wife reached for her phone in the passenger seat. Call the police, Hannah gasped, barely able to stand. There's a man. He tried to kill me. His name is Liam Carter. He has bodies buried in the woods. I've got no signal, the woman cried, panic sharp at her voice. Get her inside, the man ordered. We'll drive until we find signal. Keep trying, Marla. He helped Hannah into the Jeep's back seat. Her whole body trembled now that she was finally out of immediate danger. There are other women, she whispered. He told me I'd be number 7. There are graves back there. You have to tell them. The Jeep jolted forward down the rough road. One bar, Marla shouted. It's connecting. 911, what's your emergency? As Marla relayed their situation, Hannah broke down, sobbing with disbelief. She was alive. Somehow, against all odds, she was still alive. They're sending units now, Marla said gently, turning in her seat. The police are setting up at County Road 42 and State Route 19. We'll meet them there. Did my SOS go through? Hannah asked weakly. Yes, Marla confirmed after a pause. The dispatcher said they got your emergency signal about 20 minutes ago. They were already moving when we called. You saved yourself, sweetheart. 10 minutes later, flashing lights filled the road ahead. Police cruisers, paramedics, safety. Officers rushed toward the Jeep as soon as it stopped. Paramedics lifted Hannah out carefully, checking her wounds. A local detective knelt beside her. Ms. Zoll, I'm Detective Morales. I need you to tell me everything. Where he took you, what you saw, any details that can help us find him. Hannah nodded shakily. Silver pickup truck. Canadian plates. I don't remember the numbers. We turn off the highway, then gravel, then dirt. 2 clearings. The second one, that's where he buried them. He said there were 6 others. Did he mention any names? Morales asked. Emily, Hannah whispered. He said his wife was named Emily. He said she died there. That's good, Morales said, already radioing his team. All units, suspect Liam Carter, armed, silver pickup. Multiple burial sites reported. Seal every exit out of the area. As officers fanned out through the forest, Hannah finally allowed herself to feel the weight of what had happened, and the miracle that she was still breathing. She borrowed a phone, her hands trembling as she called her friend, Liana. Hannah, oh my God, where are you? I'm alive, Hannah sobbed. Liana, I'm alive. Within hours, Brown Ridge County was crawling with law enforcement, state police canine units, even the FBI. Hannah sat wrapped in a thermal blanket, recounting every horrific detail for investigators. The emergency signal from your phone gave us coordinates, Morales explained, pointing to a marked map. It pinged across 3 spots, about 3 square miles of forest. I can show you, Hannah said, her voice firm despite the tremor. Absolutely not, Morales replied. "You've been through enough. Our teams will handle the search." An officer approached with evidence bags. "Detective, we found the truck. Abandoned 2 miles north of where she was found. Doors open, keys still in it." Another bag revealed a wallet. "Driver's license says Liam Carter," the officer continued, "but it's fake. The address doesn't exist." Prints came back to a David William Cross, Canadian citizen, age 47. Assault conviction in 2010. Suspect in multiple disappearances across Ontario and the U.S. Midwest. Hannah felt her stomach drop. "He told me about Emily. He said she died there." He wasn't lying. Morales nodded grimly. "We're dealing with a serial offender. Your escape might have just stopped a monster." By nightfall, 9 units had located multiple burial sites. Helicopters hovered above as floodlights illuminated the forest. Hannah sat surrounded by her daughters, Amira and Leah, who clung to her as the truth sank in. 5 confirmed victims, 2 more possibly undiscovered. The next day, the manhunt for Liam Carter, real name David Cross, stretched across 3 states. He was caught 36 hours later after a high-speed chase ended in a crash on the Kentucky border. When Detective Morales called Hannah, his voice carried both exhaustion and relief. "We got him. He's alive. He'll face justice." Months later, Hannah testified at his trial, steady, unflinching. She told the court everything: the manipulation, the lies, the graves, the moment she decided to run. "Why did you fight back instead of giving up?" the prosecutor asked. "Because I have daughters," Hannah said simply. "Because I refuse to be another missing name on a poster. Because I survived, and they deserve a world where monsters like him are caught." The jury deliberated less than 5 hours. Guilty on all counts. 6 murders. 1 attempted. Life without parole. Years later, Hannah stood before a classroom of young women, sharing her story. The red flags were there, she told them. He was too perfect, too fast, too convincing. If something feels wrong, listen to that feeling. Tell someone. Leave. A student raised her hand. "Are you scared to trust again?" Hannah smiled softly. "Every day. But fear doesn't define me anymore. Survival does." As she walked out into the sunlight where her daughters waited, Hannah felt the weight of her past settle, not as pain, but as purpose. She'd been meant to be victim number 7. Instead, she became the reason there would never be an 8th.